Hi everyone, I am Dimma and you're welcome to another interesting pattern drafting tutorial. On today's tutorial, I'll be sharing with you how to draft the stylish bustier blouse with scallop hemline. It also has a very stylish sleeve and of course a stylish neckline. If this sounds like what you've been interested in, then you have to stick around till the end. Do not skip any part of this video so that you understand how I drafted all of these, and also in the description you see how you can put it together. Let's get right into the video. Here I started with my plain paper and I will start by ruling a line at the beginning. You can see that the paper is on fold. Okay, you just go ahead and rule a line. Nothing serious about the line, is just a starting point. Okay, so right now it's just to measure the shoulder measurement divided by 2 and mark, and of course rule a vertical line just as you can see me do. Now the next is to mark your basic neckline 3 by 3 or 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, and then connect as you can see me do in this video. So when you connect it like this, the next is to go ahead and do the shoulder slope of 1 inch. Connect this to the neckline just as you can see me do as well. Now the next will be the bust measurement divided by 4. Whatever your value is, you have to impute it here. So you go ahead and draw a vertical line like this. Now the next I'm doing here is just to go ahead and mark 5 inches and go in by 3/4 inch because I want to draw the armhole measurement divided by 2, and that is what you're going to impute here. In my last tutorial, I illustrated how you can measure your armhole just around the hand where the hand joins the body, okay? And then you add 2 inches to it. So right here, I am going ahead to measure the length of the blouse. Whatever the length of your blouse is, just go ahead and mark right here. So after marking it, I will go ahead and continue with the rest of the measurements. So here I have my half length. You have to mark it at 2 or 3 points so that you will get a straight line, and that is what I did, and ruled a horizontal line. So the next is the waist measurement divided by 4. Then you add your dart intake. Yeah, that is what I did, and I connected to the side like that. Now this is the hip level, and I'll go ahead and mark the hip. This will be a guideline for the hem or the hip of the blouse. So you can see that I did not get the drawing to the hip point, but I used it as a guide for the blouse shaping. So I added about 1/4 inch to the side, and then I'll be connecting to the waist like this, just in case you want your blouse to be slightly away from the body. Yes, just as you can see in the pinned picture. So right here is the bust level, and this is the bust to bust. Bust to bust divided by 2, you mark, and mark 1/2 inch on both sides of this one on the waistline. Right here, I will drop this by 1 and ensure it as a bust to bust, okay? So I will connect to the dart leg just as you can see me do. So the size of the dart is 1 inch. So when I'm done with this, I'll mark the underbust. Go ahead and mark your underbust the way you know, okay? Here you mark 1/4, and this other way you mark 3/4. You can even make it 1 inch if you please, depending on how the cup size of your client is. So right now, this is how I'm connecting to this. I'll connect from this to the bust point, and this is what we have. So after that, I'll add 1/4 inch to the dart leg, and of course connect it to the underbust. Note that this has been taken care of on the waistline, like waist measurement for plus dart intake. Yes, I took that intake of 1 1/4 because of the added 1/4 inch. So here I'm completing the dart, and the level I took this dart to is 6. I hope this makes sense, okay? So right here, you drop your neck to where you want it, okay? Just go ahead. I'm trying to mark a point. I marked about 3.5 inches from the basic neckline, okay? I marked it so that I will get the shape of the neckline that I want. So watch closely to see how I am going to draw this neck. So position your ruler just the way you can see me do, and mark like this, okay? So when you mark like this, you will go ahead and connect when you are done with drawing the neckline. You can tighten the over bust, okay, because this is a bustier blouse. So you can see how I curved the neckline to get exactly what we wanted for the neckline we are drafting. So right here I took a point and I marked ½ inch this way and 3/4 inch the other way. So I connected to this way and also connected to this other way using my curved rule, or the curved part of my rule. So after doing that, I'll just shed off where we'll be going off. So this is the over bust tightening. Because of this tightening, I just thought like going in further on the neckline. Yes, so I had to go in there by ½ inch extra and connected like this. So it's still the same, but if you want to do a princess dart bustier, like running from the armhole to the bust point style of bustier, you can skip what I did on the neckline. So here is the difference between the front and the back half length. That is the side bust dart. So I just shaded that because it will be going off at the end of this pattern making. So this is what I have at the end of the day. This area, you can actually divide it and make it serve as a yoke. Yes. So if you want a style line like the princess dart, you can skip the widening of the neck. And the shoulder area, the upper part, the shoulder side of this, you can divide it from the body so that the sleeve part, the sleeveless part, will serve as a yoke. I hope this makes sense. So right here, I had to mark about 4 inches from the waistline. I just want to get the scallop curve at the hemline of this blouse. So that is what I'm doing right here. So when I marked it, I'm just trying to draw it out with a faint pen. So if I'm satisfied with it, I'll go ahead and draw with the marker. You can do the same with a pencil, okay? So you draw, and then when you are okay with what you like, you go ahead and make it visible. So this is what it looks like. So this is the shape that I got for the scallop hemline of this blouse. So you can see what it looks like. I'll go ahead and cut everything out, and then we continue with the rest of the pattern making. So here I had to come down by 1/4 inch so that I'll do my shoulder tightening, connect to the shoulder tip like this, and continue cutting out the pattern. So this is to make the shoulder to sit right. Because of the shape of the neckline, if you do not contour this shoulder, it's going to gape. So that is the essence of contouring the shoulder right there. So this is what I had at the end of the day, and I will go ahead and close up the side bust dart. So before then, I am going to remove this, dart, the over bust tightening, and then you can see what I am doing. I just put a notch there so that I will know from the other side of the side front, I will be able to know the size of the dart. Yes, from here with the notch, I will know the size of the dart. So I had to close up the dart this way as well. Watch closely to understand everything I am doing. In this tutorial, I drafted the sleeve as well. So here I had to cut out the underbust dart, and of course that is the underbust tightening and all. I'm here just labeling it so that you know exactly where each point is. Sometimes when you cut out all of these darts, you'll be like, where is the underbust and where is the bust point and all of that. But with this, you will not be looking for it. And when you want to cut your wording and all of that for the cloth, it will be seamless and very easy. So this is what I got at the end of the day. So I had to go ahead and check this. You can see what I'm doing here, and you can see that the center front is passing the side front on the neckline. Yes, because of the shape of the neckline. So this is what you're going to check. You can as well do this before you cut out that neckline. Yeah, but even if you cut out your neckline, you can as well do this. So you have to check it. You can see the excess there. The center front is higher than the side front on the neckline by about 3/8 inch. So that is what I measured here, and I had to go ahead and patch up the side front neckline. So watch closely to see what I did to correct the pattern there. It's actually not correcting, it's more like truing the pattern. So I had to true the pattern. So after adding this paper there, I had to use my masking tape and tape it down from beneath. I'll do the same for the upper, and this is what I have. I had to go ahead and measure the 3/8 inch that it falls short of, and then you will see how I smoothened the neckline. Watch closely to see what I did. I had to add 3/8 inch. I added here as well, and I am going to connect to the neckline. Watch and see what I'm doing. So I had to connect it like this to maintain the shape of the neckline. So this is the same thing that you are going to do. So after doing this, I will cut off the upper part, the remaining part that I do not need. So I had to take the shape of the bustier and then cut off the parts that I do not need in this paper that I attached. So watch closely to see what I did. I am going to do the same thing for this. I will just go ahead and cut off where is not needed. So this is how to true your pattern. So after truing the pattern, you can see what the front pattern looks like. You're going to cut this with 1/2 inch seam allowance. You know, there is no seam allowance on this patterns. The side will have at least 1 inch seam allowance, while every other part will be cut with 1/2 inch seam allowance. Check the description box for a direction for how to put this dress together. Yes, I'll be putting that in the description box just in case you want to make the top. Yes. So right here, I'm about drafting the back pattern, and I'll start by ruling a line as a starting point. Yes, I'll just draft one side of the back pattern. So you go ahead and mark shoulder measurement divided by 2 and rule a vertical line like this. And after that, you mark your neckline 3 1/4 or 3 inches by 1 inch drop. Yes, so depending on how big your client is, if your client is on the big, very big side, you can even go as far as 3.5 inches basic neckline. So I dropped the shoulder by 1 inch there, and I'm going ahead to mark the half length, the back half length. You know, is different from the front half length by about 1.5 inches. Okay, it differs depending on the size of the body, the bust and every other thing. So just measure your client to get a customized measurement or a specific measurement for your client. So right here, I have the side and I have ruled that vertical line there. I marked 5 inches and went in by 1/2 inch there because this is a crossed back. So I marked the armhole measurement divided by 2, and I'm going ahead to rule my armhole. So for across back, you go in by 1/2 inch, by across front, you go in by 3/4 inch. So here my back tightening is 1/2, and I measured waist measurement divided by 4 plus that intake. That is what I took there, and I connected to the side, just as you can see me do. So here is the back tightening of 1/2 inch. That is what I used, and I ensured it did not pass the end of the armhole. That is what I just pointed. So right here is the lower part, which is waistline to the length of the blouse, and that is what I'm marking for the back because it's the same for the back and front. From the waist to the hem of the dress is the same for front and back. So that is where, you know, why I ruled that line there as far length of the blouse. So right here is the hip line, and I'm going to take the hip measurement here. So after taking the hip measurement, I added 1/4, just as I did in front, and I will be connecting with my curved rule like this. So the hip is a guide, and you can see that I marked it from the hem of the dress, or the hem of the blouse rather. So here I'm completing the back tightening. This is 50% tightening. It is 1/2 inch I took at the center back. So here is the middle of that waistline, and I took my dart of 1 inch there. So I marked this point to ensure that that is on a straight line with the middle of this dart. I hope this makes sense. So after doing this, I will complete the lower part of the dart. I measure 6 inches and ensure these are the middle of the dart as well. And then I completed my dart. So it's that easy. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments and I will be responding. So after that, I will have to bring the side of the front, ensure it's matching with the waistline of the back, of course. And then I just had to take the shape of the hemline. That is the scallop shape. Now I had to bring the center front as well to complete the shape of the scallop. So that is all I did here. And yeah, this is what I got at the end of the day. I will now go ahead and cut out this pattern. So if you want to shape the center back, if you don't want it to just be zipper all through, you can of course take any design you want. Okay, drop this as you want, like the opening. I think I dropped by 5, and then you can see what I carved there, just to leave an opening at the center back, then before the zipper, if that is what you prefer. The upper will have a button, this kind of button that goes with loop. I hope you understand. So you'll be attaching loop at that upper and attaching your button. So go ahead and cut out your pattern, and it will be cut with 1/2 inch seam allowance for every other side, aside the side of the pattern that will have 1 inch or more seam allowance. 1 inch is actually good and standard. So you can see what I have for the back pattern and the front pattern, of course. So you can see how beautiful it's looking. Check the description for how you will be putting all of this together. So this is the front. I had to film it separately, and of course after that I had to film the back. So you see the whole process it will take to put this together in the description box. The next I'll be doing here will be the sleeve. So watch closely to see what I did to achieve the sleeve. I had to fold this. Yeah, it's on fold. And then go ahead and measure your biceps. Biceps is from the beginning of the hand, okay, around the shoulder to the fattest part of your hand. And what I measured here is 5.5 inches, okay. Just go ahead and rule your horizontal line across like this. So after ruling it like this, you go ahead and measure your upper arm circumference. Yes, of course, with ease of 2 inches. Yes, so you go to connect, you're going to connect to the cap like this, and then you measure. I got 8, so I divided it into 2, 2, 2, that is into 4 places. This first line is 3/4, this one is 3/8 inch, and this is 1/2 inch in. So that is what I did to get this basic sleeve, because that is what is on that pattern, right, on this blouse, right? So right here I just had to mark 9 inches just in case what you want is a basic sleeve, but that is not what I am doing right here, just a guide. Okay, this is for basic sleeve. So I'm going to measure about 6 inches, 6.5 inches there, and I measured 2 inches here and then connected to this 6.5 inches mark. Okay, so after all of this, you're going to go ahead and cut out your sleeve. So that is all. This is the sleeve is as simple as this. I had to notch this place to be sure, or at a glance to know where the cap is. So this is what I have. This is the back pattern, and this is the front pattern pieces. And yeah, that brings us to the end of this beautiful tutorial. If you enjoyed this tutorial, give me a thumbs up, comment, and of course do not forget to subscribe to be the first to know each time I upload my videos. Love you all, and I'll see you in my next one.